Yeah, no.
And you finish untying him, and he tells you, he'll tell you how to get into the treasury safely. He'll teach you the command word. But there's a particular item in the treasury that he was hoping to use to free his brother from bondage. The rest of the slaves don't interest him. But now that there's going to be all this rioting, he's worried that his brother might become injured in the fighting.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's fair.
What
Let's
item?
get you the item you need. Let's deal with the matriarch quickly.
No, you don't. He says,
Yep.
I was planning to take the item and sneak very silently, unseen. All
No,
the way
that plan's
to...
over. Maybe you missed that part.
Yes. So now one of you is going to have to take the item to my brother.
Okay.
What does the item do?
He describes a pan flute that essentially does what snakes can do or Yuan-ti can do naturally with snakes, but instead of only working on snakes, it works on anyone who's been marked as a slave of this tribe. They can essentially command their slaves with this flute.
And it does or does not also work on snakes?
He says he doesn't know. He hasn't tried.
Oh.
So theoretically, I could take this flute and make Red dance like a chicken.
No, because Red's not a slave. He's not marked.
But he is a snake.
It doesn't work on snake. It works on slaves.
Okay.
Oh.
Raazu has a slave mark, doesn't she? She was enslaved at one point,
Yeah.
That's even better.
but not
Oh my
by
God.
this city. So it wouldn't work on Raazu either.
Yeah, it wasn't by this city, it was by Southwings.
And he comes clean with his plan. He was going to squirrel as much of the treasure safely away to the rendezvous point as he could, and then go and use this flute to compel the rest of the taskmasters to see his brother safely to the exit, and then he and his brother were going to get out with all this treasure. But now you're going to have to do this for him because it's way too dangerous with this riot going on for him to do it.
Okay.
Fred, you were saying before that the slaves could totally take the Yuan-ti if they worked in unison, right? But that never happens.
Typically. I mean, they'd have to... Yeah, if they were planned and prepared and well-led. I think the numbers, and actually a fair number of them are somewhat usually proficient with weapons for their amusement. So yeah.
What if instead of planning, we had one Yuan-ti making all the orders, and we could guarantee everyone would follow them? I think that these slaves are currently screwed. Their best possible chance is for them to be able to work with us, take out these Yuan-ti, and we could use this flute to do it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that this changes our plan much. I don't disagree. But I think we still have to start by killing the matriarch.
Right, okay. We kill the matriarch, we cause a chaos, we then use the flute, give it to Red. Red, you're the best planner. We use it to cause the rest of them to rise up. Then we take out this whole city?
Raazu grins. Sounds like our MO. I mean, we do tend to make a mess of things.
Birdie is his hands on his face. He's like, "This is a terrible idea. Why are we doing this?"
All right, Wendy.
All right, let's
There's a
go.
rock wall in the way.
Sounds
Let's
like a
go.
plan.
The rat folk see, like, as you guys are mulling this over, you can see that he likes what he's hearing quite a lot. And he introduces himself as Packdot. And I just like this guy's name.
Packdot.
Nice to meet you, Pack Dot.
Yeah.
I'm the pattern
Hello,
of his horn
Pack-Dot.
as the wind blows over the sand.
I am Raazu, champion of Osprey.
Red.
Birdie just waves at him.
So he leads you to the end of the tunnel and tells you the command word to bring this dragon down. And it's the draconic word for sleep easy.
Okay.
You'll see, he describes the idol coming to life, the face of this dragon. He says you'll see its eyes beginning to open, and you have to speak the command word before the eyes are completely open, or else it will use its breath weapon against you.
Well, I can
All
speak
right,
to comics,
so
that's
I
fine.
will not be going in front because I will not see its eyes open.
He also says that every piece of information he's given you about this treasury, he has from hearsay, so don't hold it against him if it turns out to not be true. But
Does he know how to get from the treasury to where the matriarchs would be resting or living or whatever?
He doesn't, because he was only going as far as the treasury.
Mm-hmm.
But he's confident enough in his information that he was about to do this himself.
Okay.
He tells you he doesn't know the layout of the temple. He's gone kind of underneath it, underwater, like through their little cistern. But it meets up with their main pool, which is commonly poisoned in some kind of religious rite. And he thinks you'd have to be a complete fool to come up out of that pool. Like, that path in is not viable at all.
Raazu
Right.
claps Birdie on the shoulder.
So who's standing in front? Because he's handing his hammer and chisel up.
That's a windy job.
Yeah, I'll get rid of the hammer and chisel. What is that, like a masonry tools check?
You don't have to make a check to get through the wall.
All right, I'll get us through the wall, and then Red, I think I'm going to push you in front.
He tells you he reckons
Red's-
he's got 2 inches left through the wall, and sure enough, as you work it, it only takes a few minutes before you hear the clatter of it and you break through.
Oh yeah, work it.
And
All right, Red.
through this little pinhole on the other side, you just broken through this little chunk. And Red, you're looking in. It's a well-lit treasure chamber. Predominantly art pieces, many of which looks to have been stolen. Very little of what's in here is of Yuan-ti make.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, the center of the room, you see a pillar, a stone pillar, coming up out of the floor with this dragon head idol facing away from you, facing the... It's an iron-banded wooden door. However, there are 2 torch sconces on either side of the room, both of which are lit currently. And you watch, and the dragon doesn't do anything as you peer in.
Are there any people moving around in the room?
No, the room is unoccupied, except for the treasure.
Can I push my way through the wall at this point? Has Wendy weakened it to the point that I can just go through?
No, Wendy's just knocked a small hole. All she's done is breached it so far.
All right, you keep watching for its eyes to open. I'll keep.
Is there enough
working on
space for that?
it. And like Wendy will shrug and hand you the pick. It should be easy at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, and sure enough, I mean, you just take the pick and you're just prying off the last few inches of this wall. And before long, you do make a hole large enough to squeeze through into this room. The room itself looks maybe like 15 by 15 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So relatively small space, but very rich in wealth and treasure.
I'll tell everybody else. All right, crawl back a bit in case I do set something off and it travels back into the into the tunnel, and then I'll slide my way down.
So going into the treasury, well, you're not going down. You're going through this wall. You're just kind of stepping in.
Oh, it's not at an angle anymore. Okay,
No, he had to slope it down because it's a couple
that's right.
layers
Yeah, it
deep.
evened out. Yeah.
And as soon as you step into the room, you see this dragon head begin turning towards you.
And I'll say the draconic words for sleazy.
I heard you buzzed at me a little bit there, so I heard you say sleazy.
That makes sense.
And when you speak the word, it stops moving for a moment and then turns back, facing the door.
All right, let's look over the chamber real quick to see if there's anything that's obviously a pan flute out in the open.
Quite a lot of different kinds of items of all different makes. I mean, you see things here that are obviously of Southling make. You see not much in the way of weapons. The weapons that you do see in here are clearly ornamental.
Yeah.
In one corner of the chamber, you see a lot of rolled up tapestries that would look probably very beautiful on display, but the Yuan-ti have no use for such things. Nothing in the way of religious iconography in here. You see nothing bearing the marks of the Red Star.
Mm-hmm.
After a few moments, you do in fact see a flute of the type Packdot described, and he comes in the room after you guys.
I don't think anybody else is in the room yet. I think we're being super
I'm
paranoid,
okay
but-
with bursting through.
Yeah, I'm okay with going.
You want to
We're-
Kool-Aid
we're-
your man here? Okay. I mean, I was going to check for traps, but if you guys just want to Kool-Aid way your man way through
I'm
the door.
Kool-Aid manning my way through this.
Oh no, you disarmed the trap. And after he sees you guys go through, he comes in as well. And you do see this flute, and it's on a very small shelf built into the side wall with a peg above it. And hanging on the peg, so encircling the entire shelf with the flute, it's quite a nice display actually, is a coiled up snakeskin rope. And it looks like these two items match, like one belongs to the other.
Hey, Birdie, anything in here look magical to you? And I'm going to go over and start inspecting the door for traps.
I'm gonna just look. I'll go through all the treasures while looking and see. Like, I'm looking specifically for wands, scrolls, or consumable potions.
Nothing magical. No wands, no scrolls, no potions. Well, I don't know for a fact nothing magical, but nothing overtly wand or potion or scrollish. Red, checking the door, you don't see any traps. You see the mechanism by which the door locks that is easily enough opened from this side.
Does it look like I could open the door without it being noticed on the other side if you weren't watching? Like, make a lot of noise or...
It probably would make a... You probably wouldn't see anything, because most likely on the other side it's a keyhole.
Yeah.
But you're thinking it'll make a sound. If anybody's standing there, they might hear the sound.
Okay.
I guess while he's doing that, my next step would be to check traps for where the flute is. Check for traps.
No, it's just a simple peg and a shelf. There's nothing there that could happen.
So it's just the flute and the rope?
It's a whip.
Or is
not
the
a whip.
rope not near the flute?
No, the rope, the whip is coiled up on a peg, and it's coiled in a circular way so that the shelf is in the center of it.
Okay.
And these two items definitely look like they're a matching set.
Okay. Well,
Raazu will pull down the panpipes and the whip.
Okay,
is it a whip or just a rope?
it's a whip.
Okay.
It's made out of snakeskin.
So you think these things need to be used together? How long does that legend lore spell take to cast?
I don't think it takes very long, but I'm not sure.
If it's only an action, that's fine. But if it's longer than that, we need to.
Let me give it a quick check.
And as you guys are discussing this, Packdot is already loading up his pack with the
It
first
takes 10
run.
minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah, so we're not going to be standing here for 10 minutes. But we will need to take that 10 minutes to figure out how to use this stuff to incite the rebellion.
Well, does PackDot know how to use it?
Packdot describes he's not aware of what this whip does. He describes the flute as you're supposed to be able to play the flute and then issue commands to anybody that hears its music. And if anybody that hears it has the mark of slavery from the Muski tribe here, they are compelled to obey your commands.
All right, so I think in the interest of agreement for everybody, once we use this thing, we destroy it.
I'll let anybody with an Arcana who has Arcana trained make an Arcana check
Okay.
if you want.
I mean, that's a very high number. It's a 27.
It becomes pretty clear pretty quickly that Packdot doesn't know anything about magic at all. And probably the flute does not work the way he's describing. The reason you think this is because this whip is obviously part of the set, and he did not know of its existence. You're thinking if you grab these items and run out and just hope that you can kind of figure it out as you go, it's probably not going to work well.
We're going to
All right, so we kill the matriarch, we get our way back out of here, we hunker down to identify the item, and then we go grab the scientist and do what we can with the slaves.
Agreed.
So you're going to take out the matriarch first?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if everybody's ready, Red's got one hand on a dagger in his belt and one on the door.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Packdot finishes packing up his first load. He tells you that he's going to take this gold out to what he's essentially got set up as a camp underground nearby in his exit tunnel.
Gotcha.
He tells you that he's going to wait there no more than 1 day. At the end of a day, if he hasn't heard word from you guys, he's going to assume that everything went pear-shaped, that you're all dead, that his brother is dead, and he's going to make good his escape.
All right.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but prudent.
And he tips his cap, and he makes his way back out the tunnel.
He had a hat on?
He had a cap.
Right, Cap.
All
And then
random
Red
people wear
opens the
caps.
door
Open up
as
the door.
quietly as possible.
Okay. And you do hear a loud click as part of the locking mechanism gives way and opens up. And you hold it there for a second, waiting for something else on the other side of the door to move. But it looks like there was nobody there. And you push the door, and it takes a little bit of strength as you push it outward. It's much thicker than other doors in the compound. And you're looking into a well-lit hallway that travels ahead of you and then turns at a T-junction at the end. One side looks like it goes up some stairs. The other side looks like it continues around the corner.
Go to the edge of the T intersection and peer around the corner.
Okay, make a perception check.
It's going to be a 14, I believe.
14. You hear hurried voices coming from the direction of the stairs, and listening to snippets of the conversation, it sounds like there's some kind of ruckus amongst the slaves down beyond the cliff. So what he means is down in this northern section here.
Mm-hmm.
Something about slaves not getting enough food. And he's speaking through a wounded voice. Like he kind of escaped this rabble.
Mm-hmm.
And
which way is he coming from? Which way is he going?
you're hearing his voice is upstairs from you. You're hearing his voice travel down the stairs. So you can't actually see him.
Is there anything about the conversation about like that he has to go down to talk to someone, or
Whoever he's talking to says that he can commit some more men.
mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't work, they'll have to use more drastic measures. And then essentially kicks the man out and tells him to go do his job. It sounds like they're emptying some guards out from the temple to go south and deal with this uprising.
All right. I'll
Just
nod to the
planned.
others. Let's do the not up the stairs first. Feel like it's going to be more likely to be on the same level.
Okay.
Okay. Going around this corner, there is an ivory door flanked on either side by torches. And Red, you see a scimitar leaning up against the wall here.
Mm-hmm.
Make me an insight check.
It's a 19.
The scimitar tells you that there is a guard posted here, but he has very quickly left his post. It sounds like that was the man you heard speaking upstairs, and he'll be returning very shortly. Like he was called away abruptly to give
He was
commands.
called up the stairs.
Yeah, he was the man called up the stairs to give his commands on what to do with this slave rebellion, and he's probably going to be returning to his post pretty swiftly here. The door this scimitar is leaning against might be one of the more horrific things you've seen, because at first it looks like it's made out of white wood, but then you realize it's shiny, like ivory, and then you realize it's the fangs of countless Yuan-ti kind of merged and looped and knitted together to form this door. It's a really gruesome sight.
Everybody is right behind me, right?
Yeah, everybody's with you.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick check for traps on the door.
Okay.
Let's
Then-
investigate of 28.
28. No, it doesn't look trapped. It doesn't even look locked. It looks like this door is supposed to remain under guard at all times.
Yep.
Raazu
open
takes
it.
off her cloak. Raazu, wait, no, before that.
Yeah.
Raazu takes off her cloak, throws it over the scimitar, and straps to the back of her pack.
So you're wrapping this scimitar up in your cloak and strapping it to your back?
Yeah.
Okay. And Red, you're at the door now. Doesn't
Opening
seem
the door.
strapped. Opening
Rapier
it up,
out.
looking down, it's a narrow hallway, not more than about 7 feet wide or so,
Mm-hmm.
with 6 wooden doors, 3 on either side. There are torch sconces in the wall, so that it's well lit. At the far end of the hallway, if you go down probably a good 50 or 60 feet, you can hear the soft trickle of water. And there's a font, a basin, built into the wall there. And it's also made out of fangs pried out of the mouths of Yuan-ti. There are 6 of these doors, and you know there to be a council of 6 matriarchs in the city. And it's not difficult to piece together which is which. If you guys stand here for more than a couple more seconds, this guard's going to come back to his post and see you there.
Everybody inside, close the door. Put the scimitar back.
Okay, Raazu will put the scimitar back.
Okay.
Is there any indication on the door of which one's which?
Make me an investigation check. You can make this at advantage because you actually can read Yuan-ti script.
$16 becomes a... Come on. 26.
Carved into the wood of the doors is Yuan-ti script, and it's done as artistically as you could expect of the Yuan-ti. And it doesn't name the matriarchs, but you realize it's naming some of the major houses of the city. And you realize it's a list of houses that serve each individual matriarch. Your time at the Pureblood barracks, you pick out a few names that you're pretty sure serve Iha specifically. You're confident to a degree of about 80% that this is the right door.
I'll motion
the third door on your right. You're very close to the basin at this point.
I'll motion for everyone else to be quiet, because maybe she's asleep and we got lucky, and I'll open the door.
Open the door? Let's get a stealth check from everybody before Red opens this door.
It's a 31 for
31,
Red.
that's good.
I'm going to spin 2 blips to reroll that.
Okay.
That's a 5 for Raazu, and I'm going to... you know what? Yeah, I'm going to spend two blips to get something
21.
here.
21 from Birdie.
Okay.
It's an 18 from Wendy.
Okay.
Oh, I will choose to take this 15 after spending the 2 blips.
Okay. So you got a 15?
Yeah.
All right. And roll some initiative. I rolled poorly. Well,
I didn't.
Kind of poorly. I can leave that 7 where it is.
Do you want me to go first, Birdie, or do you want to go first?
It's whatever makes you happiest.
I say that I go first because I close to melee with whatever's about to fight us.
That's
and
fine.
Get the sneak attack on that. So yeah, let me go ahead of you.
This is where we need to queue up the
Boss fight music.
The Dead Cell music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to that now.
Oh, Dead Cell. Oh God, does that mean we're fighting Fortune? Please say not Fortune.
Fucking yell Dead Cell. I hadn't heard that in a while.
All attacks at disadvantage.
God,
any of that hit.
It's time to replay Metal Gear Solid 2. It's been too long. Opening the door, Red. You don't catch them unawares. They're not surprised, but it opens into an opulent chamber, and you're immediately met with the sound of running water, and you realize there's not actually a floor to this room, so to speak, as there is a large bridge kind of breaching across the running water, leading to an archway on the other side, which opens into the matriarch's opulent living quarters. And this really strikes you as what you're more accustomed to is like Yuan-ti nobility. Guarding the bridge is an abomination. One of the large Yuan-ti monstrosities that looks entirely like a snake man, but with 2 great muscular arms. And they have the ability to get into your mind. You know specifically, first of all, they are able to command snakes with but a word. They're able to do what you can do with suggestion. And they're able to instill just primal terror in people. None of the rest of you know these things unless Red has spoken to you about abominations in the past. I
think I'd have told everyone that.
then it's
Specifically because of this and
Because of the specific.
Yeah. Before we went to the lab, I think I would have told you guys all of that.
okay. So this bridge spans about 10 feet across where the river is just running freely in this area, and it's pretty narrow. It's only about 7 feet wide, but there's space beyond the bridge, in between the bridge and the wall, another good maybe 3 or 4 feet on either side.
Is he the only one in the room?
You don't know, because he's standing in this archway on the other side of this bridge, blocking your view into the room.
Oh,
And
okay.
we're starting with Red's turn.
Let's move up to the abomination and ready an bonus action to give Raazu an advantage against her next attack against it, and ready an action to stab him with my rapier when Razu's next to him.
So you're giving Raazu
Now, you
advantage, and then
So you said that it was only like 7 feet wide, so we wouldn't be able to go side to side, shoulder to shoulder against on this.
you could,
this
but if
bridge?
2 of you were standing side to side, there's no room for anyone else to move past you.
Okay.
And if I'm gonna say if 2 people are also standing abreast, it's gonna give partial cover as well.
Okay.
All right then. Then yeah, I will. Then that.
On my next turn, I'll disengage through him with my bonus action, but for right now.
All right.
Okay.
So Red moves up into position, and that's gonna bring us to Raazu.
Razu's going to. How much movement from the door to the
Only about 10 feet.
to
It's
the
this
abomination? Okay, then.
Light
Then I can
bridge
close an
covering the
attack. Then I can close an attack.
Yep.
So I'm going to close.
Okay.
Ready to action.
Yep.
Hits an armor class of 13.
13 doesn't do it. He knocks your blow aside with his massive
Let's
scimitar.
go ahead and use the martial accurate attack. 17.
17 will do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Thanks,
sparring
Adrex.
practice, Adrex.
Thanks, Adrex.
Does that mean Adrex is getting the assist blip this session?
Yes.
I would be okay with that, honestly.
26 damage.
26 damage, okay. And all of your training with Adrex...
Oh, wait, no, that's it, yeah, sorry.
All of your training with Adrex comes to the forefront as you see him lower his scimitar. You're like, wait a minute, that's what Adrex says to do to block a blow. So you shift your weight to one side, and your dagger comes in a space he doesn't expect. And was that one of the daggers with the sickening radiance on it?
No, this is my rapier.
That's your rapier. Sorry about that. And it's going to bring us to Raazu. Go ahead and do what you got to do. You get your first attack at
attack
advantage.
with trident. Yep. At advantage, that's right, because trident. So I'm going with the trident. That is a 22 to hit.
A 22 will hit.
Yeah. I'm not going to throw any paladin stink on it just yet. Wait. Well, if I do, then that's just basically going to blow the whole thing. But okay, that's 8 damage.
8 damage, okay.
8 piercing with a magical trident. We still have not solidly identified.
No, you haven't.
Okay, and that's a 20 to hit
20 will hit.
for the second attack for another 8 damage.
Okay. And you get in with your trident and get a good couple of jabs. And you're staying put there?
Yep.
Birdie, there's nowhere for you to stand in order... Wait, what are you doing all the way down here? That don't make no sense.
Special.
Okay.
She-
Birdie,
She wanted to give.
there's nowhere for you to stand to make a melee attack, and if you do a ranged attack from this position, I'm giving him partial cover because Red and Raazu are both standing in the way.
It's fine. I'll still do it. I'll still shoot him with my bow. And if I hit Raazu or Red in the back, they'll forgive me.
There's no danger of hitting your allies. Not even
know.
if you roll a 1. I hate that rule. Like, critical failures are fun. No, they're not. Go to hell.
That is a 21 to hit.
21 will hit.
You trip and die.
Unless I'm the one providing cover, because I can choose to make them take the hit instead.
Ooh, that's
That
a good
is a-
numbers.
29 magical piercing.
29, okay. And he is bloodied as you see his whole musculature reel backwards from the force of your shot. Moving or staying put?
There's not really anywhere to move into, is there? It's just a bridge, right?
You can move out onto the bridge. Right now you're
Oh.
kind of standing in the doorway.
Can I bonus action disengage and run past everybody?
There's no physical space for you to do that, no.
Okay, no, then I'm fine where I'm at.
Not unless you drink your potion of etherealness, which takes an action, so you can't do that either. Okay. Red.
Mm-hmm.
I have... That's some bad rolls. I've got a 5.
Nope.
I'm sorry,
Sentinel
not a
after
5.
that first one.
It's not a melee attack.
Oh.
Not a 5, a 7. Still not going to do anything.
Nope.
An 8.
Nope.
Another 8.
Nope.
And a 13.
And also a nope.
As a volley of arrows comes from the other side of this abomination standing in the doorway, and there's a sharp clatter against the wall right next to you in the archway, and then the splash as 4 arrows hit the water. Somebody on the other side of this abomination is firing at you.
Were you going to sentinel that?
Oh, it was arrows. That wasn't melee.
Oh.
That wasn't the abomination.
There's no run 5 feet for her.
Give me 1 second to look at something real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh God. Somehow I didn't write it down exactly how this works, but there it is. Okay. No, you're good.
Okay. That's going to bring us to Windy.
I pull out my bow, and I let loose a billow from my cloak that kind of envelops the bow itself, just taking the measure of like every inch of the string, how the wind resistance is going to move against it when I fire.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing is I'm using my new key ability, Sharpen the Blade.
Mm-hmm.
I can, as a bonus action, spend up to 3 key points in order to grant a weapon I touch a bonus to attack and damage rolls equal to the number of key points I spend for 1 minute.
That sounds like a Magic the Gathering ability.
Uh-huh. Winding the Gathering.
I would like to point out...
I could see that as a 1 white, but you probably need to draw a card. But
I have not played Magic the Gathering since 7th grade. Ice Age was new last time I played Magic the Gathering.
I remember those days.
Urza stuff out. Get those ornithopters.
Yeah. Ornithopters, one of the best artifacts in the game.
Alright, and I am going to fire off a couple blind shots at this guy.
Okay, you're rolling at disadvantage, and it's got partial cover.
Ignore partial cover.
I ignore partial cover because of sharpshooter, but I do have disadvantage from being blind.
Yes.
That's a 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
Yay! And another 17 to hit.
Also hits.
Oh, this
going to be
guy's
a
about
lot
to
of
have a real
damage.
bad day.
This could be like sneak attack shit right here.
Oh shit, it wasn't a 17, it was a 20. But don't worry about it. I already forgot the move I just used. That's
just don't forget the 6 damage.
Yeah. That's 50 magical piercing.
50. That was 1 arrow or 2?
That's 2.
You catch him
It's not quite sneak attack.
once in the pit of his arm holding his scimitar, and once right on the side of his neck. And he cries out, his tongue lashes out in pain. He's not quite dead, but only just.
Alright, and that's my turn. I did not billow, by the way, Brick.
Okay. Well, you couldn't have. You used your bonus action to do some other monk shit.
Exactly, I just wanted to make sure.
Red.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to attack you a bunch of times.
Oh, yep.
I have an 18.
Yep.
Let's
Can you resolve
one
that
first.
Yeah, because I'm going to sentinel that.
2d6. 14 points of bludgeoning damage, Red.
Let's go ahead and uncanny that.
Okay, and you are grappled and restrained as he wraps his tail around and constricts you. So his second and third attacks get advantage. Raazu, you want to try to settle that?
Yeah, and I just rolled a nat 20 on that. So
Did you? Can you do less than 5 points of damage?
I don't think I can because
wanna-
of the 2 dice that I'm rolling here.
Do you want to try?
So I have plus
She's
3
got a
to
plus
this.
5
Yeah.
strength?
So this abomination
Yeah, he's
wraps
dead.
its tail around Red, and Red, you feel the breath leave as it's starting to constrict against your rib cage, and he rears his scimitar back, ready to just lop your head off. When Raazu steps forward, puts the trident through him, and all at once his form goes slack. The scimitar splashes into the water, and then he slides and splashes in as well. Raazu, you still have...
That was a reaction.
That was a reaction.
Okay, it was his turn. Looking into the room, now that we're on Red's turn, it's the opulent matriarch's chamber. There are two what look like Malisons in here, but they're slimmer and smaller than Malisons. And they're not wearing any sort of clothing, any sort of jewelry or ornamentation of any kind. They just have this smooth, scaly skin. Although they have humanoid legs and arms like a Malison would, and a snake-like head. But the head is triangular, whereas the rest of the Yuan-ti here have different shapes, and the coloration is different. You're not familiar with this kind of creature, but there's two of them in this room, and they're both reaching back to knock arrows.
Do we see the High Matriarch?
You don't, but you see another closed door in the back of this room.
How far is one of the archers?
They're right in this room, so only about not even 15. Well, it can't be 15 feet away. Not even 10 feet away from you. Like you step forward, they'll be in your threat range.
Is there more space we go over the bridge? Like, are no longer shoulder to shoulder?
Yes, there's a lot more room to move around in here. This looks like the matriarch's antechamber. This looks like where she would call people into to meet, take meals, have important discussions. And then probably the other door goes into her personal quarters.
Let's move up next to the one on the left, and same thing I did last. Let's ready an action and give Raazu an advantage on her next attack against it.
Okay. So you stepped in and went to the left?
Yep.
Raazu, you're up.
Raazu follows Red's cue, heads off to the left as well. So go ahead and take your attack or your reaction there.
Yep,
that'll hit an 11 or 21.
That will hit.
For 27 damage.
27. Okay. That was with your rapier?
Yeah.
Yeah, you pierce this thing through the abdomen, and for a moment you feel more resistance in its scaly hide than you were expecting. But it pierces through, and it bleeds just like anyone should. Raazu, you're still up.
Yep, I'm gonna swing with my. I'm gonna jab with my javelin.
Okay.
That is a 16 to hit.
16 will hit.
All right. So I'm doing this two-handed, by the by. That is 7 magical piercing damage.
7 points, okay.
And then second attack. That's only a 12 to hit.
A 12 does not hit.
Yeah, okay.
And when you go for your second stab, it's not that its hide was too thick or it's dodging out of the way. It's that for some reason, at the last moment, your arm turned aside and stabbed the air next to it. And you're not sure what compelled you to move like that.
Okay.
Moving or staying put?
Staying put.
Birdie, you're standing at the other side of this bridge looking into this opulent antechamber.
Well, I will go to where they were standing facing the abomination, and then I will let loose an arrow at the same one that Red and Raazu attacked.
Yeah, you don't even have to move from your position. You can do that right here from the doorway. Oh, no, you have to cross the bridge first. You have to go on the other side of the bridge.
Okay, well, I'll go to where I can do that.
Yeah, no problem. You've got a clear view of everyone in the room at this point.
Yep.
Just killing my innocent Yuan-ti that never did anything to no one.
She shot arrows at us.
No, she shot arrows at Red.
Out of everybody in the party, Red deserves that the least. Okay, so that is a 15 plus 9 to hit. So 24. 25.
25 damage?
Yeah, no, 25 to hit.
25 will hit. That'll do it.
Yeah.
What you have to understand here, Birdie, is that shooting Red, pureblood, is not a crime in Yuan-ti society.
That is a 26 magical piercing.
Okay. And it is badly bloodied as it shudders backwards as its arrow catches in its lower belly. Moving or staying put?
I'm staying put.
Okay. I need a wisdom saving throw. One from Birdie and one from Red. Red, this is against magic.
Is Birdie within 10 feet of Raazu?
Yes, because all Raazu would have to do is step into the room to attack this guy.
Okay, then Birdie does have or not advantage, but +4 to this, and so does Red.
Okay.
Okay.
16 for Birdie.
16 as well.
Both of these creatures, as they're reaching back for arrows, you see them lock eyes with each other at a moment and then turn their heads so that one is staring into Red's face and the other is staring into Birdie's. And their tongue flicks in and out of their mouth in the most hypnotic pattern you've ever seen. And for a moment you feel your arms go slack and your muscles relax. And just so your whole world can just look and watch this pattern. But then you immediately snap out of it and come to. Wendy.
What are you guys looking at when he fires off 2 arrows?
You know, hypnotic pattern doesn't... Oh, yeah, okay, it does say it only works on creatures who can see it. All right, I was going to say, like, I don't even know if that would work on Wendy.
Oh man, I wish they had wasted their action on Wendy.
Alright, so that's going to be 1 miss and a 22 to hit.
22 will
That'll
hit.
hit.
Or
Which one are you attacking and with what?
the one that they've been hitting with the sharpshooter arrow shot.
Okay, so you're going to move up next to Birdie at the other end of the bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that is 21 magical piercing.
21. Okay, and you catch this thing through the neck, and it falls dead as it falls over backwards and clatters into a shelf with some little knickknacks and ornaments on it.
Making a lot of noise, I'm assuming.
Not a lot, it's just
knickknacks.
clattering to the ground. Wendy,
Okay.
are you moving or staying put?
I'm good here.
All right, it's going to bring us back to Red.
Let's move over to the other one and do the same thing.
Okay.
So bonus for Raazu.
Radiant action, so when I go after him...
And you've got advantage, yep.
Yeah, okay. Alright, then I will close and let Red take his action.
Okay.
Nope, that's only a 11.
On 11 does not hit.
How about a 24?
24 will hit.
Okay, that's only 4 damage.
Okay.
Second attack. 20?
20 will hit.
That is an 11. That is 11 damage.
11 damage. Okay. As you start stabbing him with your trident.
Yep.
And moving or staying put?
Staying put.
Staying right up in its grill.
Yep.
It's going to bring us to Birdie.
I mean, arrows to its face. I mean, if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not the roll button. That is a
Ooh.
crit.
Ooh. Good night,
Okay.
buddy. Hopefully.
He's not bloodied yet, but I mean, you might get him with a crit
I think he's about to be.
if you put enough 6s on the table.
All right.
I have yet, with my rogue in our Saturday game, I have yet to roll a critical hit, and it's really starting to get old.
That is 47 magical piercing.
He's definitely bloodied now, but you have not quite run him out. As he shudders backwards under the force of the arrow, and this arrow is pierced so deep, the blood is leaking out over the fletching. And Birdie, moving or staying put?
I mean, I'm fine here. It's a nice bridge.
Okay, Red.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 15 to hit you.
Nope.
And then I
Is
have
that a melee attack?
It is. And then I have a 5.
5
Sentinel.
also misses.
Okay. Raazu, can you finish it
19 to hit?
off? 19 will do it. Can you be the guy?
Can I be the guy? Let's find out. That's 9 damage. 9
9
piercing
damage. We'll do it. As you pull your trident back from it, and it slumps to the ground dead.
Raazu motions forward.
Yep. No, we're just I think we're just going to consider the same procedure we've been doing to the next door.
It seems to be working.
When you open the next door, it is the sleeping chamber for one of the matriarchs, and you see the matriarch herself is coiled up on, I mean, it's essentially a large bed, but it's made for somebody who has the huge torso of a snake. And she's very, very old. And she looks almost resigned as you come into her quarters with the blood of her guardians on your weapon. Red, you can see she's holding an ornamental dagger, which is typically used for bloodletting in execution rites. And you see her crane her neck upwards and hold the dagger up. And as you enter the room, she tells you that the Coatl has spoken to her, and she chooses to die rather than receive its gift. She says this very matter-of-factly, and she says it in Yuan-ti, so only Red understands her. And that's where we're going to call it for the week.
Exciting.
I worked very hard to make sure that, because I knew everybody was going to split up this week. I worked very hard to make sure that everybody got a little bit of combat all on their own.
That was fun. I really
that was a good
enjoyed that
session.
That was a really good session.
I feel like I had the most Metal Gear combat though, because I did push a guy off a cliff.
I had notes for whether this particular fight, there's a couple places I thought it might take place, one of which would be in the temple room here. And I was thinking, should I have these Mind Whisperers just like spend the whole fight swimming circles around where they can't do anything about it? That'd be really Metal Gear.
Yeah, that'd be double vamps.
I'm going to go ahead and post the straw poll in the chat here. If you're watching, go ahead and go to the straw poll and vote for who you think deserves a little extra something this week. I'm going to go dark for a minute because I've got to do a lot of experience calculations, and you guys think about where your blips are going to go.
Think about what you've done.
Oh God, I was just thinking, are we going like where's the sorrow or where's the Psychomantis part of this fight? Or
I think that was it.
You think that was it?
They tried to take over our brains.
It's true, I guess. But how do we plug controller into port number 2 for that?
We beat
I
the
By
remember
being
seeing-
blind.
I guess. I remember the GameCube version. You had to cycle through all 4 controller ports.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's do Adrex for...
For party assist.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. So who's the most creative today?
Let's think. I say Raazu for inciting the slave revolt with her kissy faces.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Who was a badass?
Red for for mind raping that poor Yuan-ti and telling him, no, everything's fine, just go back to your room, it'll be okay. Like, just leave us your weapon. Plus, he also got me some kick-ass crossbow bolts.
And who's intangible today?
I like Birdie triggering that guy's trap, like triggering every single trap along the way, but managing to avoid them. Like, didn't spot a single one.
Well, I wasn't looking. Do you like how I used the frying pan?
No, I didn't like that at all. That was a bad use of frying pan. You got it dirty, you got it shot. Bad
Fine.
frying pan.
Wasn't my frying pan. I stole it from somebody anyway.
Probably me.
Not wrong.
I just go through everybody's packs when they're not looking.
All right. So up down to personal blips.
Oh, can't think of anything.
All right. Who wants to make a case this week? My dogs, apparently.
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so I got alignment. I'm willing to help out, but I want something in return for not immediately killing the rat folk, tying him up, hoping we could get some information out of him.
Okay.
And then my flaw thinks setting traps are a great idea, even when they're inappropriate. For trapping that guy, using the frying pan as a trap to get him to waste his shot.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
And who wants to go next?
Oh, in the video.
In the video, yes.
Okay, I'll go.
Wendy.
All right, I've got monastic tradition redirection for using the force of gravity to create my desired outcome.
What was your desired outcome?
That man being super, super dead. Incredibly dead.
I think it's possible he could have survived the fall, but I wasn't going to press the issue.
He's going to come back at the end of during the post credits scene.
With an eye patch.
Right.
Yeah. Somehow.
I've got...
and a rock through his forehead.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got our place in the world is to take apart what isn't working and make something that is, for my plan to control the slave revolt to take down the whole city.
Okay.
And I've got learning new things is never wasted for quizzing the rat folk about the master that he knew.
Okay. Who else? Red or Raazu have anything?
So I've got flaw. It's often best just to do what needs to be done. Explaining to the others would be a waste of time for just jumping off the bridge with no indication to Raazu of what she should be doing in this situation.
Okay.
And I've got neutral good. Survival requires the greatest good for the greatest number for working with the rat folk to try and do something about his brother, and for agreeing to do something about his brother and the rest of the slaves.
Okay. And is that it?
Yeah.
And what's Raazu got for me?
I've got my alignment. Good and evil are subjective distinctions. What matters is keeping to your own ethics. For advocating for destroying those panpipes after completing this mission.
Okay.
Because, I mean, come on. Like mind control panpipes. That's the kind of thing that shouldn't exist.
That's the closest I could come for a stand-in with to nanomachines in this. What else you got?
Ideal, work hard, play harder. I earn my leisure time and buy house from. I use it to my fullest for backing on the Goliath.
Okay.
My bond, sword arm is only the beginning of a greater world, but it is a necessary first step. We were a well-oiled machine in that last combat.
Yeah. That went real well.
We were crushing that. Like, I'm really shocked that went so well.
I was hoping to lock somebody with hypnotic pattern, but
like we were thinking that I was thinking that there's got to be some other twist in this combat that's going to like pull the rug out from underneath us, but I guess not.
Well,
we'll see what happens next week.
Well, that's what happens when you kill everything before they get a chance to do anything. That's why you bring two rogues.
You weren't supposed to find the location of that tunnel. Like, you hadn't had a discussion with an NPC. I was expecting you to kill the matriarch in the temple, in which case the combat would have been a lot different and more dangerous. And then discover the tunnel later, but you just happened to say, I searched for secret entrances in the one place in the entire map where there just happened to fucking be one.
Like, no one was more surprised than I was.
And then finally, I have my flaw. I take any advantage I can if it will aid my allies, regardless of the consequences, for going along with Red's marching Raazu around as a slave.
Okay. All right. Who had the most? Well, I'll give you guys your experience first.
Okay.
While we're waiting on straw polls to come in. Red and Birdie. You each had 2 purebloods, 2 Malisons in your combat, and then the big fight on the bridge for 1,725 experience each. Wendy.
Yeah.
you took 1 Malison all by yourself, and then the big combat on the bridge comes to 1,975.
Okay.
And Raazu, you took the veteran down all by yourself, and then the big combat on the bridge for 1,975.
Okay.
I am going to award everybody 1 blip for securing one of your 3 goals. You did
And
secure the
500
staff.
for 500 for the for blips. Is how much your blips are worth?
Yes, blips are worth 500 at the moment. All right, we award 1 blip for the most creative solution to a problem this session.
That was Raazu, but I don't remember why we said that.
For making kissy faces at the and getting a slave in revolt to happen. Okay. I think that was it.
All right, we give 1 blip. Who furthered the party's goals the most this session?
I believe that we gave that to Red for using the suggestion to make the Malison in that fight go along with everything we needed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give 1 blip for being the badass.
No, that's what we gave it to Red for.
That was what we gave to Red because we gave the assist. We're giving the assist to Adrex.
You can't. Adrix is not here.
Oh.
Adrix did
Try.
literally nothing this session.
Well, he trained Red on how to do combat maneuvers. That's what our thing was. But okay.
You could give it to Red for executing the combat maneuvers.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And intangible, I also don't remember why. I just wrote
We're
down.
giving it to Birdie for failing through all of the best laid plans of the of that poor rat folk, and then still coming out of it looking suave.
All right, and our straw poll is also Birdie unanimously this week, with no dissenting votes.
What the hell?
Nobody else did anything good this week, apparently.
Man, our viewership must have changed because anytime McDohl did anything vaguely sexual, it was all Keelian for those votes. Raazu does it.
So Raazu, I've got
Who gives
1,
a
2,
shit?
3, 4, 5 blips this week.
Yep.
Wendy, I've got 1, 2, 3 for you.
Okay.
Birdie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for you. And Red, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for Red. Blips are worth 500. And when we come back next week, we'll open up with our talk with Grannon in here, the disinfected inventor character.
He's been
Who made
disinfected.
that?
Do I say disinfected? That's fine too. He
You
can
did.
be disinfected.
You did.
That's okay.
Get the order of Snaky.
Okay, so that'll do it for us this week. I'm going to be back on tomorrow, probably finishing up Guacamelee. And we'll see everybody else next Sunday. Thanks for playing, guys.
Later.
Later.
Bye.